Well, hey everyone, Jay Whitner here with Kickstarter Coaching and our internet TV show Crowdfunding Coverage. We do a quick recap each month of what's going on in the crowdfunding universe. So today we're going to be talking about March of 2016. In March there were 11 major campaigns that did $725,000 or more in March. These big campaigns brought in about $17 million in March. The biggest campaign was the Smart Parka, and that raised $3.3 million. We'll talk about 8 of the big campaigns and some of the reasons they were successful, but first a little bit about the news of the month. In early March, Indiegogo made an announcement that they were going to assist women in crowdfunding efforts with extra consultative help and just general support. And they had some other people that are going to be participating as well, Dell Computer and so forth. So this is an interesting decision by Indiegogo. We'll see how that unfolds over the coming year. Next, Kickstarter made an acquisition, which as far as I know has never happened before. They purchased Drip. Drip is a little bit like Patreon, if you're familiar with that platform, in that it provides ongoing support from your crowd on a monthly basis or sometimes on a per item basis that you're creating. So Kickstarter bought Drip, which is for musicians, and it may be a good strategy for Kickstarter moving forward because the insanely rapid growth of crowdfunding the last several years has flattened. And Kickstarter would certainly like to grow, I guess, like most other organizations. Maybe acquisitions are the right way for them to proceed. In 2016, we're looking at lots and lots of equity crowdfunding. The industry insiders think that equity crowdfunding is going to roughly double in 2016, largely because of Title III of the Jobs Act. This is sometimes called Equity for Main Street. So equity crowdfunding opportunities will be available basically to everyone, and people are thinking this is going to really expand the equity space, and I agree. So, by the way, equity crowdfunding for Main Street really begins in mid-May, so we'll see in just a few months. We'll get a feeling for how that's going to unfold. So, the 8 big campaigns we're going to talk about today with some general benchmarks on them. They range in the amount that they brought in from roughly $800,000 to over $3 million. So there's a substantial range in them. The video length, which is a key item in campaign design, ranged from 1.5 minutes to 4 minutes long. So more or less what we tend to recommend. The campaign length ran in this particular time from 28 to 60 days, so a little bit of a longer average duration than we tend to recommend. Reward levels range from a rather skimpy 2 rewards to choose from to 35, which having been through it several times, that's like a really, really high number of rewards to manage. And updates, 7 to 30. We tend to recommend 2 updates a week. In most cases, we think is an optimal amount of updates to do. So the campaigns themselves. The first campaign is OI, which is for a bike bell of a different design. They raised obviously a lot of money to be included in our comments this month, but some of the attributes that made them unique or made their campaign be successful is they offer their bike bell in different colors. This is a simple concept, but when it's economically feasible, give your backers a choice of what they want to get. So they offered it in different colors. They gave insight into the development of their product. They had an image in their campaign. It was all the different prototypes they've made, which shows a little bit of their sweat equity in what they're doing. And they did something interesting. For the first 500 backers of their campaign that got their product, they engraved on the product the number that it is. Like if you were backer number 4 of their campaign, it would have engraved on it 4 of 500. It's kind of an interesting way to get people engaged. The next campaign was pretty cool, called Air Bonsai. If you're familiar with with magnets a little bit. There's a way you can arrange magnets so things float due to the magnets repelling each other. So they built this device that sort of builds that magnet into like the base of a plant or bonsai or whatever, so that it floats above its base. Very interesting looking. They raised a lot of money for this campaign. Some of the things they did for their campaign that were a little bit unique is the base. They had a variety of different bases to choose from. Some were sort of plain, modern looking, that were a little bit more affordable, or more unique, like handmade looking bases. So they gave, again, a little bit of a choice to the back about the look of what they're doing. They offered some add-ons, extra stuff you could get with your air bonsai. This is good, again, because it helps keep the base price a little bit lower and gives the backers more choice. They want to get this and this as well. And in some types of campaigns, it's really hard to manage not knowing how many orders you're going to get and how can you accommodate all these orders at the same time. They had 2 different sets of delivery dates built into their campaign. So they had, I think it was 500 by some certain date and then 500 by another date. So you can manage that if you're concerned about your ability to deliver. Next, we have the litter box reinvented. This is a tool to make the cat experience a little bit easier to manage. And you can look at the video. It seems like it is a good design that they've come up with for a new and improved cat litter box. Raised a lot of money. A lot of families have cats. So some of the things they did in their campaign is people that are accustomed to crowdfunding campaigns know how they work, but in the main body of their campaign, they had back this project buttons. So like if it's a newcomer to Kickstarter, they don't know how it works, not sure where to go to say they want to back it, they had a button like just right there in the main body that says that. They had a separate email address posted in their campaign for the media. This is kind of interesting because if you have a successful campaign, you're getting a lot of messages. And certainly you want to respond in a timely way to messages from the media so that automatically flags them. You can prioritize getting back to ABC News wants to interview you about your campaign. Also, they had a button for subscribing to their newsletter. Many of the Kickstarter projects are the kickoff for a whole new business. So if you're going to have an ongoing business, you want to have ongoing communications with the people. So this is a way to automate the system of getting them signed up for your newsletter. This next campaign, the Pop Slate, I found very interesting as an iPhone owner. This is a case for the iPhone that has a built-in battery to extend the life of your iPhone, and it makes the back of your iPhone a second screen with sort of like, you know, the electric ink kind of displays like on Kindles and stuff. It's less battery intensive than other displays, so it can be like always on with extra data, always visible on the back of your iPhone, and it adds quite a bit to your standby time, your talk time, because of the battery that's built in. They raised a lot of money. Some of the neat things on their campaign, aside from just a neat product, which is obviously fundamental to every campaign. If your product or your service isn't good, you're sort of sunk at the beginning. They had gifts that they used to show different aspects of what they were offering. These are the mini videos that you see. They had 4 of the Get Now buttons scattered through the main body, so you wouldn't miss the opportunity to buy their product, which is maybe a good thing. They also had a big team behind this campaign, and they showed that to good advantage with names and pictures and titles and little bios for the different participants, which gives confidence that they'll be able to deliver on a high-tech product like this. Next, we have the Sondor's Thin electric bike. Electric bikes are available from various sources. They were representing this, and as far as I know it's accurate, as the lightest, thinnest electric bike available and the most affordable. So all these superlatives certainly make it more interesting to people. They raised a lot of money. Their campaign had supplemental videos. Don't forget, even though you have one main campaign video, you're not limited to that. You can have really as many videos as you want, as far as I know. I don't think there's any limit on how many you can have. But they use that to their advantage to show different things. They had a button in the main body, Contribute Now, that we've talked about in some of the other campaigns. And they had an interesting graphic, sort of at the upper right of their campaign, and it showed like what stage they were in what they were doing. So there's like 4 little circles on it. One was like the idea, second was a working prototype, so that a potential backer could look at that and they could say, hey, all right, well, they've got a working prototype. That's good information for a potential backer of your campaign. Next, you have 7th Sea. This is a tabletop game. It is what this campaign was about. Raised a lot of money. This was a sort of a relaunch of a game that was originally put out 15 years ago. They had 33 stretch goals that they achieved. They really encouraged backers to do things to promote the campaign. Make a Wikipedia page, do this, do that, like the page. You know, there was a long list of different things, and they kept track of it on their webpage about what their backers had done. This was a great tool to get them excited and engaged in making the thing happen. Also, they gave the ability to download a quick start of the game. This is sort of a scaled down version of the game you could download for free from the internet and try it out. This is brilliant. If you can put something like that together to showcase what you're doing and get people to sample it for free, very, very good. They raise a lot of money. This next campaign is Joking Hazard, another game. This is a card game, sort of a game. And they raised a really, really large amount of money. This one, I think it was $3 million or something that they raised. I can't quite read it from my screen here. They had a very successful campaign, and really the campaign was pretty vanilla. They didn't do a lot of interesting strategic things in terms of just looking at their campaign page. They had a graphic rewards section that showed in images the rewards that you might get. They used stretch goals to add different features to what they were offering. And some of the rewards were funny, but in looking at the campaign, there's nothing that leaps out to me and says, oh, well, this is why they did so well, that they did this. So of all the campaigns this month, that one is a little bit confusing to me, how they raised such a large amount. The big campaign of the month was Smart Parka. This is sort of a Swiss Army knife of parkas, with like little pockets for like lightweight gloves, so you always have them in a built-in scarf, and pockets like inside the parka for your iPad. Many unique features in this parka. But they did some things that really I understand how they built their campaign, how they did so well. They had a 100% money back guarantee. You don't like it, send it back. Except for shipping and handling, you get all the money back. This gives the buyer confidence. This is a great thing to offer people. They had buttons that said, take a closer look. So when you clicked on the button, a window popped up. Whoops, excuse me. A window popped up that had more information, more images about each one, because they had different styles. They had, I think, 4 for women and 3 for men or something. But like if you clicked on it, you could see it from different angles and different stuff. So I hadn't seen it done quite that way before, and that seemed like a nice feature that they provided. Also, they had a final hours deal to try to like drum up business in the last day or so of the campaign. They put in like a very aggressive price. The campaign's about to close. Anybody that comes in, gets to buy the thing at this price. So Smart Parka, $3.3 million. That's it for March 2016. Hope you enjoyed the show, and hope to see you back in a month, and we'll talk about what's happening in April. See you then.